that.
Hey,
Come
Joe,
on.
let me just tell you, Joe, I've done more in 47 months. I've done more than you've done in 47 years, Joe.
Some more fiery moments from last night's first presidential debate of 2020. Welcome back to Real America. My next guest, he's the former Chief of Staff for Public Affairs at the Labor Department under the Bush administration, and now he's the president of Americans for Limited Government. Richard Manning now joining Real America. Thank you, sir, for joining the program. How are you tonight?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
All right, so you watched the debate. We'll touch on that a little bit, and then I'm going to talk about your organization, and I want your take on a Biden versus Trump presidency moving forward, post-COVID and size of government, since that's your expertise. But just give me your take. You watched last night the 97, 98 minutes of what I'm referring to as the debate debacle. What did you find?
Well, I really learned more about from what Joe Biden didn't say than from anything that he did say. Here's what Joe Biden didn't say. He didn't say that he would stop packing the Senate from packing the Supreme Court, basically eliminating the independence of the judiciary in this country. So he didn't say that. He was given multiple opportunities to. He didn't say that he would oppose the Senate eliminating the filibuster, meaning that the minority in the Senate, if it were to be the Republicans, would in fact be at the mercy of the majority, just as they are in the House, eliminating one of the safeguards against essentially tyranny of the majority. So he didn't say that. He didn't talk about things like, he wanted to say Antifa is a construct, that's an idea. Well, ideas don't burn down cities. Cities get burnt down by people. And when all the people in all the different cities are wearing the same gear, you know, Joe, get a clue. It's an organization and it's a threat. And the president was right in naming it a terrorist organization, along with the KKK, by the way, in a recent executive order. Yeah. So what Joe didn't say speaks volumes. And what he did say was basically political blather.
Yeah, I would totally agree with you. I mean, he had Wallace in his back pocket, helping him by either throwing him softball questions, interrupting the president 6 times more than he interrupted Biden, siding with Biden on some of the issues. You could tell there was a bias there. And I like that you pointed out it's what he didn't say. We didn't get any substance out of Joe Biden. And you would think with 47 years as an elected official, he would have provided us some of those plans, although he did say he didn't back one plan, which was an outright lie. And I wish Wallace would have fact-checked him, and that's on the new Green Deal. It's on his website, but he said he doesn't support that or back it, even though he had talked with Bernie months ago and said, yep, I agree with Bernie, and I'm for the new Green Deal. Let's talk about what government would look like with Joe's plans that we don't know a lot about, but I'm sure you've studied stuff on his website and what his plan and the Democratic agenda would be moving forward versus another 4 years of the Trump administration. Your company, your organization, Americans for Limited Government, says it all right there. Tell us the contrast in the two differences in those two administrations. What would we see if we had a President Biden?
Well, first of all, the Trump administration moving forward, you don't want anybody else running the post-COVID economic recovery, because this president knows how to bring manufacturing and other jobs back to America. He knows how to make trade deals that are favorable to America, and he knows how to create jobs, and not just any job, but jobs that benefit the lowest 40% of the job holders, giving them more raises than the people at the top of the scale. That's what President Trump did in his first 3 years in office, and that's what he would do in his last 4 years in office. A Biden administration, on the other hand, would be one that basically locked down our oil and natural gas industries, would create an environment where we would no longer be energy independent. And remember, folks, energy independence means we don't have to really have a military presence in the Middle East, because we're not going to be dependent upon people and countries that don't like us very much. So that's what energy independence does, and that's why Donald Trump got there, and that's why we're pushing to move ahead with that. So, but that's not going to happen to Joe Biden. There'll be tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of jobs lost in Ohio, Pennsylvania, and other energy-producing states. We will see a transformation of America into looking a lot more like California, where Joe Biden's running mate comes from. And in California, they're a place where they're pushing people to have electric cars and shutting off their electricity. That's California, and that's Joe Biden's vision for America.
Yeah, it's nothing I want to be part of. Richard, man, they're wrapping me up, but I want folks to know a little bit more about who you are. Explain background. I know you worked for the Bush administration, but your new organization, you're the president of Americans for Limited Government. Exactly what do you guys do on a daily basis, monthly, yearly? What are you putting out there? How are you helping the American people get the word about why we don't need more government?
We take on the big issues that other people aren't taking on. The affirmatively furthering fair housing, which would have had federal government take over local zoning. We fought that for 6 years. We stopped it in the House with the help of Representative Paul Gosar. We stopped it in the Senate with a defund that was passed into law. And now the president has eliminated the regulation, taking away federal control over local zoning. That's just one of the many things that we do. You don't hear a lot about it, but it's those kind of things is where government encroaches most on people's liberties. And because it isn't sexy, nobody pays attention to it. Americans for Limited Government is there fighting for America, fighting for freedom every single day on issues like that.
Richard Manning, thank you for being a patriot. Thank you for getting that information out there. And like you said, it's not sexy stuff. So most average Americans, even like myself, I mean, I happen to be a news junkie, but a lot of folks out there are just trying to make ends meet, going to the office job, going to the factory job, plumbers, you name it, factory workers. Those folks are out there that are living the real American life every day, raising kids, going to work if they're allowed to. Probably don't see this information, and they need to. They need to realize what's happening with our government and how it affects them. So my hat off to you, Mr. Manning, for doing what you do. Keep it up. The President of Americans for Limited Government. We'll have you back on real soon. Thank you, Richard.
Thank you.
All right after the break, in my Get Real segment tonight, I've got a few choice words for last night's debate debacle moderator, Chris Wallace. You'll want to hear them. Don't go away.